the feints, the foot movement, the way he lands shots. He fights like a boxer. He doesn't fight like a guy who's trying to box in a celebrity boxing match.
Let that sink in.
Jake
That's
Paul,
right
Gervonta Davis is so crazy. 135 versus 200.
That is, if I'm not mistaken, a 92-pound weight difference. Almost a 100-pound weight difference. It's insane. Let's say he comes in at 200 pounds. It's still a 65-pound weight advantage, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Joe Rogan has once again shaken up the combat sports world with his bold prediction ahead of the highly anticipated Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Tank Davis showdown. The UFC commentator didn't mince words, warning that Jake Paul's sheer size and weight advantage could spell serious danger for Davis, even suggesting it might end Tank's career if the two actually meet in the ring. Rogan acknowledged Davis's explosive power and elite-level skill, calling him one of the most dynamic punchers in boxing today. However, he stressed that the physical gap between the two fighters is simply too great to ignore. With Jake's natural size, reach, and raw strength, Rogan argued that Davis would be taking an enormous risk, one that even his legendary speed and precision might not be able to overcome.
My opinion is, I just want to say, in case someone calls me in court, I'm a fucking idiot and I don't know nothing. And don't take my advice.
I love the Saudis.
Don't take my opinion.
I love the Israeli government. I love everybody.
That has nothing to do with them. That was Jake Paul promoting it. You know, it's just like,
But
doesn't bother me.
there's compromising the sport, and that's like bad. It's just like
If I bet on it,
watching it with people who are so in on it, and then also the sports betting apps. They introduced like chat apps in them in Australia, so it's like they're trying to take the place of social media companies where you go together and you meet your friends. Like betting should be exciting enough without having a weird.
We're just trying to draw you in. We're just trying to make money, right? So we're trying to draw you in.
Rogan recognized that Jake Paul has legitimately grown as a fighter. He noted that, stripped of his YouTube fame, Paul's rise in boxing would still be impressive, citing his ring awareness, technique, and ability to execute strategies rather than simply throwing wild punches. However, Rogan issued a strong warning about the looming clash with Gervonta Tank Davis. He emphasized that Davis operates on an entirely different level in terms of skill, speed, and knockout power. Rogan stressed that if Paul underestimates the threat, the fight could quickly turn disastrous, highlighting the high stakes and real danger Paul faces stepping into the ring with one of boxing's most explosive talents.
What do you think of this Jake Paul?
I always said that Jake Paul was not a YouTube star. People just looked at him like an up-and-coming boxer. You would say, this kid's got a lot of fucking talent. He's dangerous. I think his strength is that they underestimate him because of what his background was. And they think there's no way that some guy who became famous off of YouTube is going to be an actual legit boxer. If you look at what he's done, he's a very good boxer.
Jake Paul didn't hold back, boldly stating that he would destroy Gervonta Davis in the ring due to his size advantage. While he tempered the claim with a nod of respect for Davis's skill and accomplishments, the remark immediately sparked backlash. Critics argue that comments like these undermine the legitimacy of the matchup, making it feel more like bravado than a true sporting contest. The concern is heightened by the stark physical difference. Paul approaches 200 pounds as a cruiserweight, while Davis competes at lightweight. This vast size gap has many observers questioning whether the fight is not just mismatched but bordering on reckless showmanship.
I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down. I don't know.
Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
Is there a height limit in boxing?
For Tank, there's no way that this goes well for Tank Davis. Because if he wins, they go, oh yeah, world champion. Of course you were supposed to beat that YouTuber. If he struggles but wins, they go, ooh, Tank is washed. He struggled against Jake Paul. He still won, but he had a hard time. And then, of course, if he loses to Jake Paul. And him and boxing lose their credibility.
Rogan's commentary emerged alongside several key announcements about the fight. The bout is now scheduled for November 14, 2025, at the Kaseya Center in Miami and will take place as a 10-round exhibition, streamed exclusively on Netflix. The fight will be contested at a catchweight of 195 pounds, a massive jump from Davis's usual lightweight fighting weight of around 135 pounds and even above Paul's recent cruiserweight outings, intensifying concerns about the size disparity between the two competitors.
My point still stands where it stands. Jake Paul wins this fight. I already bet Gervonta Davis in the DMs. We locked the bet. Guys, obvious Jake wins this fight. You guys know anything about fighting? You know about weight classes? You know that Jake's been training for actual years. He's been locked in.
Oh my days. Jake Paul
versus Tank Davis. Is this real? This can't be real. Because he was talking about fighting Joshua, which is heavyweight. And now he's saying about fighting Tank. Nah, this can't be. Netflix as well. I need to go and do some checks and see if like the main pages have posted this. But Jake Paul's posted it. It says Friday, November 14th. It's in Atlanta, State Farm Arena. This is random, no?
Beyond Rogan, numerous boxing professionals and analysts have voiced their perspectives on the matchup, highlighting a mix of concern, caution, and, in some cases, outright skepticism regarding both the legitimacy and safety of the fight. Many experts question whether such a drastic size disparity can ever translate into a fair contest, while others worry about the potential physical risks for Gervonta Davis stepping into the ring at nearly 60 pounds above his natural weight. The collective sentiment reflects a broader debate within the sport about spectacle versus genuine competition.
Oh, Jake Paul is fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. Chilaquiles, chilaquiles. Oh, it's musty, and I say that respectfully. Per Mike Hoppinger in the Ring magazine, Gervonta Tank Davis, freshly off his domestic violence charges being dropped, will get into the ring with Jake Paul in Atlanta with a proposed date of November 15th. Lord child. Tank weighs about 135. Jake Paul weighs about 200-some pounds. So obviously this will be at a catch weight, and this possibly will not be a sanctioned fight where it will count on anybody's records. But I'm going to tell y'all like this. Tank fans, you niggas down bad.
Musty energy.
You niggas is down bad. Tank basically on the back half of his career, according to my brother Nestor Gibbs from the Boxing Voice. This man, Gervonta Tank Davis, said, I am not fighting no Shakur Stevenson. The man said, I'm not even going to rematch Lamont Sanat. The man just said, I'm not even thinking about fighting Dev Dollars, Devin the Dream, Debo Haney. I am going directly into Jake Paul. I've been told you that Tank was the black Jake Paul. Tank been the black Jake Paul. Man ain't care about legacy. Man ain't care about none of that, bro. Tank fans, you niggas down bad. Protect your fighter. It is musty at the highest level. And poor Lamont Sanat, it might be over for Lamont Sanat. He got to fight somebody. You might need to fight Gary Russell Jr. right now. Tank Davis, Lord Child, Jake Paul, boxing down bad. This about to make a lot of money. The only plus in this is that Alicia Baumgardner, a.k.a. Bomb Amy, might be on this card. I would love to see Alicia Baumgardner back on Netflix. That is a plus, and my man Lucas Body might get on there as well, and Avius Griffin. So it might be a movie as far as the undercard. Tank Davis, you down bad, bro. Boxing is absolutely disgusting and musty at the highest level. Get it together. Tank is a 30-plus-year-old prospect at the back end of his career. He on his Mayweather McGregor at the age of 30. Lord child.
Davis' head trainer, Calvin Ford, openly acknowledged the risks posed by the logistical challenges and the significant size gap in the fight. Yet, he remained resolute, stating, "We signed the contract. We're going to make it do what it does." Ford emphasized that the real leverage might come from glove size rather than sheer weight. The teams are reportedly negotiating whether lighter or heavier gloves will be used. Ford noted that Davis typically competes with 8-ounce gloves and suggested that Paul could wear 10-ounce gloves while Davis sticks to 8-ounce, aiming to create a more balanced playing field despite the massive physical disparity.
My only concern is, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's 2 pounds away from Jake. He fights in 10. Tank fighting 8. So he losing 4 ounces. So my thing is, I said, they said, put Tank in 8, put him in 10. That makes the fight more interesting. You know what I'm saying? And we'll go from there because I understand. And I brought that question up to one of his hounds. They was, no, we don't want to do no mixed match. It's supposed to be an exhibition. What? You know what Now y'all want the wins and the loss. You know what I'm saying? All these prescriptions, you want to be great. Being great is really pushing the envelope. You know what I'm saying? Tank don't really care, So when I brought this up, he said, dang, facts. You know what I'm saying? So, again, he can weigh the 10s and we weigh the 8s. Then we got to fight.
Calvin Ford explained that Davis's team was initially preparing for a rematch with Lamont Roach Jr., which made sense from a purely sporting standpoint. However, when the opportunity to face Jake Paul arose, the team felt it was a rare chance they couldn't pass up. Ford highlighted that the Paul fight offers far greater exposure and financial reward and defended the decision by emphasizing that Gervonta Davis has earned the right to pursue such opportunities. Sometimes, he noted, a fighter must walk through the bigger door, even if it's not the most obvious competitive path. The proposed bout between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis has faced significant regulatory hurdles. The Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission declined to sanction the fight in Atlanta due to the massive weight difference between the two fighters. Chairman Rick Thompson didn't mince words, calling it the dumbest I've ever heard and labeling it a blatant money grab. When Paul's promoters requested a weight class waiver, the commission balked, citing safety concerns over such a mismatch. As a result, the fight has now been relocated to Miami, where the bout will proceed under different jurisdiction.
Say today, Chairman of the Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission, the commission that is going to be voting whether or not to approve Tank Davis and Jake Paul. His name is Rick Thompson. He had some very choice words for Jake and Tate fight. He said it's the dumbest ish he's ever heard. It's a money grabber. He's not okay with that. And he doesn't like the arrogance of Tank Davis and Jake Paul announcing their fight, marketing their fight, having press conferences and shit before the commission can vote whether or not they're going to approve the fight. He calls it arrogance. Their concerns, obviously, the weight discrepancy between the two. In the state of Georgia, two competitors cannot outweigh each other by more than 9 pounds. Tank and Jake Paul's team have already submitted a rule waiver request to get that rule waived. And Rick Thompson also said in this article that he is expecting the committee to put it to a vote as to whether or not they're going to approve this fight on September the 18th when they're meeting again. Also, we got some insight that USA Today tried to reach out to other members of the committee, and all of them declined to comment on what's going on. But what I do know is that the Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission, 5-person panel is going to be voting on this Tank Davis Jake Paul.
Former world champion Amir Khan also weighed in, strongly criticizing the matchup. He described the fight as disgusting and voiced concern that exhibition bouts with such extreme mismatches could lead to serious injury or damage boxing's reputation. Khan emphasized that weight classes and proper sanctioning exist for a reason and warned that ignoring them sets a dangerous precedent. He went further, suggesting that by taking a fight like this instead of challenging a legitimate top-level opponent, Davis risks turning the sport into a spectacle rather than a serious competition. While acknowledging that Davis is an elite talent, Khan argued that stepping into the ring under these conditions, with such a vast weight and size discrepancy, raises major safety and integrity concerns. His overall message was unequivocal: this isn't the type of fight a serious champion should be taking.
Few boxers out there who are frowning at Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis fighting in the exhibition. They can frown, but one fighter has been more vocal than the rest, and it's Amir Khan. The thing with Amir Khan, he's always been about his Wu-Tang cream, dollar bill, y'all. Now he's mad because Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul have figured out a way to rob the bank, like Mayweather and Conor McGregor did. Amir Khan out here talking about someone's going to get hurt. This needs to stop. That's why people respect MMA so much. You don't see these fools trying to go over to MMA and do what they do in boxing. There needs to be some kind of control. He pulled a Eubank Senior parliamentary procedure. I'm like, what the fuck? Anyway, if Amir Khan had an opportunity to fight Jake Paul, all it is, hey, guys, just do the right thing and stop this social media nonsense. All fighters should stick to fighting, whether boxing or MMA. We shouldn't be crossing over. doing this misfits fighting YouTubers and fighting Jake Paul.
On this fight.
A really bad mismatch. And you know what? Whoever the promoter is and that's agreed Gervonta to fight, and whoever the promoter is to fight for Jake Paul to say fight this little man. I mean that's wrong, man. I mean that's just like torturing someone. I mean going in there and hurting someone is fair on Davis. But like say you don't know what position Davis is in. I heard that he's been having a lot of legal problems and been arrested a couple of times for a couple of felonies and stuff I've seen with his ex-wife and stuff. So you know what? You don't know what's going through his head. Maybe he just wants to catch up and walk away from the sport. And maybe this is a great opportunity for him where he's seen this fight come up and he's like, fuck it, I'll take it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think they're making boxing a joke, really.
Yeah.
One day someone's going to end up getting hurt so badly, then it's going to definitely destroy the sport.